So let's talk about buying tablets because this is one of the most important things that you're going to do is going to decide what tablet that you are going to get into. My very first tablet that I had ever tried out many years ago back in the early 1800s was a it was a Wacom bamboo. I think that's just what it was called. It was this tiny little black tablet that they no longer make. And I think they have a version of the bamboo again, but like this original one that I had was a 6 by 9 tablet, and I thought I had the greatest thing ever since sliced toast. But I then moved on to a lot of the courses that you see me teach here. I taught on my Wacom. It's a bamboo, but it's a Create, and there's a smaller version that was called the Capture. So I say that if you're going to get an entry level tablet, you kind of can't go wrong with even the least expensive version of a Wacom. However, the first thing that you want to mention, or first thing that you want to look at, is you got to look at your budget. So that's why I got these big dollar signs here, because your budget is going to dictate what kind of tablet you're going to be able to buy. And when you're starting out, get the tablet that you can afford. I will say that again. Get the tablet that you can afford. I know that there's a school of thought out there that you're supposed to wait and get a Cintiq or wait and get an Intuos. But if you don't have $200-300, then you're not going to be able to get an Intuos or $400. And if you don't have a grand to drop, you're not going to be able to get a Cintiq. And by grand, that's my American slang out there. For those of you that are not in the States, that means $1,000. So the entry level, I think the lowest level of a Cintiq is, or the entry level is the 13, and that starts out at $799 as of this recording on October. I'm recording this in October of 2017, and that tablet is going to run you about $799 to $800. And that's a big chunk of money for a lot of people. I know I've been there before, to where putting down $700 on a tablet is just not realistic. Also, I'm sitting in front of, I essentially still have my original Wacom Bamboo Create. And the thing about buying a used tablet, and I do want to talk to you about buying a used tablet, because if I were to sell my tablet on eBay, well, that'd be fine. But here's the thing about my tablet. It's a very old tablet. I think it came out in 2011. So if you're trying to skimp on money, you're going to be paying in the long run. I would suggest you never getting a used tablet. I just do not suggest getting any sort of used electronics, because there's always some kind of problems. Case in point, and I don't want to make this kind of ranty, but I just want to make you, my students, aware of some of the things that you should know about before you go in and make an investment like a tablet. My Wacom Create, when I hooked it up to test out something on my newer computer. Right now, my rig is a Dell Alienware Area 51. Yes, I have one of those overpowered computers, and I set up my graphics tablet, and it just wasn't working, and the drivers weren't working, and I was having some issues with it. And since it wasn't my main tablet, I just unplugged it and didn't worry about it. I was trying to install the drivers, and I'm like, well, I don't need to install the drivers, so that tablet is now no longer effective for me under Windows 10 with a Dell. So you have to be aware, or beware, of when you are buying a used tablet. I would strongly suggest against it, because there are plenty of alternatives out there that are inexpensive. And I'm going to go over a little bit of that so I can show you what to look out for when you're buying a tablet. The second thing you want to realize, are you're going to look at like graphic versus a monitor style tablet. And what I mean by graphic tablet, that means that you are drawing on the tablet, but you are looking up at a screen. So that would be like the Intuos by Wacom, or some of the other tablets that might be entry level. And those tablets are really good. I mean, they are. That's the things that I started out on, and the monitor, which right now I have a UG. It's UGEE 2150, and it's been a really good monitor for me. And it did not cost. They call them Cintiq knockoffs, but it's been a really good tablet for me. It allows me to paint, and it has pressure sensitivity and all that good stuff. Or are you going to go with a computer tablet? I recently just purchased an iPad Pro 12.9, which is, I've never had that much fun drawing on a tablet, and I absolutely love it. But also the iPad Pro, the version that I have, it was like $800. So if you don't have $800 to spend, I don't want you to think that you can't get a tablet. Which brings me to the second part of this right here, which is, no, I don't want to save it. So here I am on Amazon, and if I look here, so this is how you shop for a tablet, because I don't know what tablet is going to be right for you, because it's going to be within your budget, and I don't like to recommend like, oh, here's the one tablet, and you could see best drawing tablets under 90. So what I would look at is I would look right here and look at people's reviews. That's the first part of this. The second part is, so let's see that we have, let's just take a look at, so I got a Huion 1060. So then I would go into Amazon and type in Huion, well, this is a 1060 plus. And so I would take a look at it. And as you could see, it's $82. I don't know if that's in your budget or not in your budget, but here's the other part of it. These are both two tablets. I look for anything with 4 stars or above. The higher the stars. Now, the other thing is that this 610 Pro Graphics tablet, this has 4.5 stars. The first thing that I look for is I will click on to this. Let's take a look at this. I'll show you how I kind of measure if I'm going to get it. You're not going to get a perfect 5-star tablet. There are Wacom Cintiqs on here, and they're usually about 4 out of 5 stars. And they are allegedly supposed to be the graphic standard that you need to be a professional and all the other stuff. You'll have a lot of people say that to you, but it's just simply not true. I'm not saying it's not an awesome tablet. I've never really tried one, but I've done professional work on my UG, and I've done professional work on my Bamboo. So that's up to the person. So what I would look at is I would scroll down here, and I don't want to click on to the great tablets. I don't want to look at that stuff first. I look at some of these. So right here on this particular review, it just says, I've had this for a few months. It is deteriorating slowly. The buttons never work, neither with Krita nor with Photoshop, etc., etc. And I would go in and look at the worst reviews and see for yourself. Like, there's a 2-star review there. I want to know. I'd have to say the price is great. Wacom and iPad are overpriced, and so I'm reading this review, and it seems like it probably should be more than 2 stars, but this is out-of-date product that is not impressive. So you got to take a look at some of the bad reviews, and if it's something to where if you're not on a Mac and they're complaining that it doesn't work on a Mac, that is important if you're on a Mac, but if you're not, then that may not be the thing. Now, I look at some of this other stuff. I also look at the date in which it was reviewed. Some of the stuff with 2 stars seems to be a little bit newer. Some of the stuff with five stars and above, it seems to be from 2015. So keep that in mind also. Take a look at when the review was made, because like I said, it might be something to where it's not going to be effective for you anymore. But with some of these other tablets, take a look at some of these YouTube channels. That's how I honestly went with the UG. I was going to get this other tablet called an XP Pen. But what happened with the XP Pen is that the newer tablet, they just didn't have it in stock, and I really needed to get a graphics tablet. So I'll type in the tablet that I have. So I have the UG 2150. This is the tablet that I have right now. And so you can see it has some pretty good reviews on it. Nothing doesn't seem to be less than, and they have, and here's the other thing. You want to look at, there, some of them will have different prices because some of them will come with different little features. I got mine with two styluses, a glove, and a bunch of extra nibs, and a screen protector that really wasn't that awesome. When you get a tablet, try and make sure that you can get that it comes with a stand, some sort of stand that is attached to it, or something that it can set on. And with screen protectors, that's going to be a personal choice. That is entirely up to you. So, when you're buying a tablet, those are the things you want to keep in mind. You want to keep in mind your budget. You want to keep in mind the style of tablet that you have. And not only that, but if this is something that's more of a hobby for you, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you do want to draw on a screen, I would kind of stay right around. Huion has really good ratings. UG has really good ratings. XP Pen is another one that I was considering. And if you got now see it's $7.99 for a Wacom Cintiq, but you could see it's 4 stars. And so the other thing that I would say is that if you're going to order a Wacom Cintiq, from what I have seen with the reviews and people complaining about customer service and drivers, I would order it directly from Wacom, not Wacom. I would order it directly from Wacom. That's just my opinion. I'm just looking at some of the reviews that they have, that for the people that are not happy with these, I would get it directly from Wacom and register it with them so that there's no intermediary, because sometimes you could be buying it on Amazon very inexpensively from an intermediary source. Also, as of this recording, there are so many different versions of the Wacom. There's the 16, there is the one that's the computer, and now they're talking that they're going to have even more Wacom Cintiq tablets coming out, a 32-inch, I believe, and a 27 HD that's already out. And then and I'm not quite sure, some of the other stuff. And then there are the alternatives, like Dell has a 27-inch monitor that you can draw on called a Canvas, but that gets into a few $1,000s. And I know not everybody is going to be able to put that in their budget or even justify it. So those are things that I want you to keep in mind. I know this was a little bit long, and this isn't me saying, like, I really enjoy the UG. I am ready to move on to something else. I'm probably either going to get my next drawing tablet. It's probably going to be a Microsoft Surface Studio, or it's going to be a Dell Canvas. So I'm just letting you know I'm moving up to the next level. But it took me years to get here. And that's just because of budgetary concerns. And that's all that is. The main thing is that you need to get what's in your budget. As long as you're within your budget, no matter what it is. So we've got this XP pen right here. This is $69. It has 4.5 stars, and it seems to have really good ratings. You want to see if it's compatible with your operating system. So Mac OS 10.7 or above, Windows 10. If my budget were under $100, I would go with this. I would see nothing wrong with going with this. So get what's in your budget and start to draw. Don't worry about people that are telling you that you need a Wacom Cintiq or whatever it is. There are plenty of reviews online and plenty of professional artists that are not using Wacom Cintiqs. I'm one of them. So I just want to kind of close off with that. And then that's really how you buy a tablet. So good luck. All right.